and welcome everybody to episode 37 of the Comic Book Cast. Look at that, got it right on first try. Not really, though.
Yeah.
So, as always, this is your host, Armin, and this week I'm here with Sean.
Hi, everyone. Call me the Black Baron.
All right, Joel.
Okay, Black Baron, whatever you say.
Also, we got the guy that's always here every other week. That's Tom.
Hey, call me Christ on a bike.
And now we got the other guy that lives in Britain, but it's not Ricky. So apparently there's a third guy that lives there, and we're gonna call him for the purpose of this podcast. We're gonna call him Sonic.
Yeah, my name is Tom Carter. Hi, and also reason why they call me Sonic because I have a YouTube channel called Index Sonic on YouTube. Look me up.
It would be confusing to have two Toms on the same show, so you can see why we're doing
Listen,
this, everyone.
I'm already confused when there's two British people on this show because they all sound the same.
Hey,
Actually, they're both Tom. Tom that we're talking to right now, that's the future one, and Sonic is the past Tom, so...
I like the sense of continuity you're creating here, Sean. Good job.
All right, so first I just want to get off into a little questions and answers we got. This one's from Martin Third, and he commented on our Spider-Man reviews. He's a big fan of ours, and he just suggested we make a video podcast down the road, kind of highlighting who we think, the top 25 to 50 superheroes are, and describe why. As a group, though, we have to agree on them. So I think that'll be pretty fun. We'll definitely do that somewhere down the road. Maybe our
that could actually be just a whole episode of the podcast just devoted.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine some real nerd rage and fights in the future for that
Yeah.
one.
Like, how the fuck you say Moon Knight is not one of the best? Because he sucks.
He looks like
And
a
that's-
KKK member.
And that's not even bringing up the Submariner versus Aquaman fight that will surely
Oh,
erupt.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
there will be blood in the water.
Mhm.
Good
Yes,
fun.
there will be.
Yo, this guy's already stealing my thunder.
I know, right?
Using all the puns.
Hey, I'm British. What do you expect?
True. Alright, this one comes from Elite4X, and he asks, he's interested in starting reading Green Lantern, and where should he start? He asks
Jeff
if,
Johns.
so Green Lantern Rebirth, pretty much start there.
Yeah.
Now, the
pretty much.
unfortunate thing is you're going to start there, and you're going to catch up to the reboot, and then they're going to throw all that out the window and give you a big middle finger. So honestly, just start anywhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Start with the Ryan Reynolds movie.
Aw.
Too
That's-
soon.
that-
Too soon.
That's the funny thing about comics. People always say, I really want to get into it, and where do I start? The honest truth is, there is no wrong place to start. Just pick up something you think looks good. And if you're confused, there's this thing called the internet, where they keep track of the most ridiculous amounts of continuity, and if you have a problem, you just check it out.
Joel, I'm not sure if you know this, but the DC continuity doesn't make sense as a fucking whole. They already introduced,
Oh, I know.
oh god, I'm not even gonna get started.
Hey, I'm a DC fan. I know how much sense it doesn't make. You don't gotta tell me.
But there's one place
We
you
must
can-
wear underwear on the outside. Why?
Mhm.
We just have to. Marvel don't wear that shit. We gotta be different.
But there's one place you shouldn't start. One more day.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, there you
God.
go. Good answer. Good answer.
Oh god, yeah.
Mm.
So, and last but not least, this one is from Mr. Mustache the Third.
I like
That
him
must be
already.
a pretty epic family of mustaches if he's the third one.
I know.
No, actually, he's a living mustache.
And pretty much what he says, love the reviews, guys. I agree with you that about the Dark Knight. And also, if the Spider-Man film does well, who would you like to see as the villain in the sequel? And the only person I want to see is Mysterio.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Mysterio.
Yeah, they already have a new creative team writing the sequel, even though the first one hasn't come out yet. But
Is it like Ortsme and Kurtzme or whatever those guys that write every other fucking thing in Hollywood are?
yeah, it's the Transformers guys, Star Trek reboot guys. It's the guys who do everything
Oh wait,
in Hollywood.
speaking of that, I forgot to
See,
pimp
I
it.
like
at the
their
end of the
work,
show.
so I'm pleased with that.
Yeah.
Forgot to pimp it. At the end of this show, last 15 minutes, is an exclusive audio that me and a bunch of guys got to do with the writer of Iron Man 1. Make sure you stay at the end of the show, guys, because it's awesome, and some of the shit he tells us is like I never knew it existed. Like he was like at the end of it, we were talking to him off, without recording. He was like, I'm not sure I was supposed to talk about that. Oh well. So
You're lost, dude.
and such as little piece of info like the Mandarin was originally in Iron Man 1 before Kevin Feige told him to save it for the third movie. So go with it. Yeah, there's a bunch of awesome stuff in there that I recorded.
Yeah, crap, I haven't heard it yet. I want to listen to it.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it was a great experience. And now I just want to get into the box office predictions. So let me just break down what we predicted. Sean predicted 800 million worldwide. It was under that. Tom predicted 660 million worldwide, and I predicted 450. Let's just say none of us were even close. It was.
And I said nothing because I knew I would be wrong no matter what I said.
Hey, 600 million worldwide and 207 million in just the box office. Ooh.
Not too shabby.
Just damn. I mean, total. How much? Total. How much would that be?
Dude, it's literally just. They're predicting it's gonna break 1 billion in like 2 weeks.
Oh,
it's enough to buy all the hookers in Thailand twice.
No, all the ones I can handle.
It's enough for me to get a bunch of midgets.
And live the dream.
Just recreate my own little Willy Wonka thing.
Oh god.
Just be like, come here, little Oompa Loompa.
Paint them orange and dye all their hair green.
Oh, what's that song? Oh yeah, True Imagination or something. I don't know. Just start singing that while banging them.
True imagination.
I'm just gonna say this. There was a lot of arguments going on Facebook between people and stuff, about the Dark Knight versus Avengers.
Way too many arguments.
And here's the thing that really caught me off guard. People are like, well, Avengers is gonna break billion, but it's because of the higher prices and all that. And I just went in there on a bunch of statuses that I saw my friends posting, and I said, yeah, the Dark Knight broke 1 billion, but it also had to get re-released in theaters for 4 weeks to do it. And then I kind of.
And one of the main actors had to die.
And let us not forget this thing that people are continually forgetting. People are like, oh yeah, Avengers totally overtook the Dark Knight thing. It broke its record. The record wasn't Dark Knight's to break. It was Harry Potter's, actually. No one is mentioning Harry Potter. They're so quick to make this about Avengers versus Dark Knight that everyone forgot that Harry Potter held the record before this.
I know, right?
That is how Nerd Rage worked. Nerd Rage just blinds you. Apparently no one listened to my call for sanity last week.
Hey, listen.
I'm the Sonic the Hedgehog community. You know how much stupid raid nerds that goes on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fucking Shadow the Hedgehog.
No, don't.
I can't believe I actually bought that game.
Actually, I can't believe I was actually interested in that game.
I was too.
Mm-hmm. That sums it up.
I say, is he gonna do some cool shit? Nope, he's gonna just use guns and drive. I'm like, yeah.
Here's the only thing I know about Shadow the Hedgehog. Maria. That's the only thing I know.
Is that the one where he makes out with a human?
No.
Yeah, I found that creepy in Sonic Adventure 2.
Dude, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for the GameCube was the shit, but then...
I love that game, but I don't like all the Knuckles levels or the Tails levels.
Oh, dude, I fucking hate the Knuckles levels and Rouge, and... Tails can suck a dick, I don't care.
But I mean, we can all agree...
the worst part of the Knuckles levels was? It took 15 minutes to finish each level, and throughout the entire time you have to listen to a 2-minute song of Knuckles rapping on a loop.
what was that pumpkin level?
The Emerald's power caused me to feel. And it's like, oh, shut the fuck
I'm not gonna
up.
lie, that pumpkin level had the best damn song for Knuckles on there, and I was jamming to that shit like crazy.
Then half an hour goes by and you're still playing the same level and you've heard it like
exactly.
15 times in a row.
I got annoyed. I'm like, fuck this shit.
I just find it quite funny. In one of the these knuckle raps, they say, "Unlike Sonic, I don't chuckle, I flex my muscles." And then if you go back to his first,
that was it.
If you go back to his first appearance in Sonic 03, the first thing he does when he see you, well, apart from tagging you, he chuckles.
Yeah, he chuckles, doesn't he?
But I think we can all agree the best Sonic-related thing ever was Sonic Underground, the animated series, where every episode they defeated the enemies with the power of rock.
Oh, I was about to ask you, was that the rock show? Like, where they had instruments and shit?
Yeah. And the ending was very climactic. They could have just get a scroll and said, "You win." It's like the biggest draw ever.
Welcome to the Comic Book Cast, where we talk about Sonic.
I know, now more Sonic. Sonic just has the power to, like, derail any conversation.
We all have fond memories of how it failed.
Do you know what's weird though? The Sonic the Hedgehog comic book is still being made.
Yeah.
Huh?
The Sonic the Hedgehog comic book wasn't cancelled in the mid-90s. It's still going on. It's just
Want to talk
nobody
about some
reads it.
messed up continuity?
Nobody reads.
We should just get Jaleel White on the show.
Oh, I'd like that. Urkel.
I know.
All right, guys. So now we're gonna go into what the majority of this podcast is gonna be, and that's assembling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why, but I just got a boner.
holy hell, that was the single greatest theater experience I've ever had.
Fuck
Mhm.
yeah.
Like
Oh,
everybody was laughing. Like there wasn't douchebags, there wasn't cell phones
Yeah, I know.
on. Like it was so great just being there.
Well, except
Yeah.
for my experience, there were cell phones, and this bitch was told Captain America to calm down when he was punching the punching bag and shit.
Damn.
We had, when me and Tom went to see, we had a bunch of chavs behind us going, yo,
Oh
yo.
god, yeah.
Uh,
That was. I thought they were gonna ruin the movie, but luckily they did shut the fuck up after a couple of
see,
minutes.
to like the theater I went to, they played Iron Man 1, which was like the throwback to the interview with the writer. So I did that, and then if you were part of that, you could stay in the seats and get the best seats, for the midnight showing. So I did that. They were doing a bunch of Q&A, and they were giving out posters and exclusive items from the movie and stuff. So like my wife and I both answered questions correctly, and for trivia, it was just awesome. I mean, the theater filled up. We literally, I think, had over 2,000 people at our local theater. It was huge.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
What blew
it's-
me away about my show, I saw it in like my little small town podunk theater. It was packed on a Sunday night, filled with like old people and families and little kids. And here's the thing though, we all enjoyed the movie for the same reasons. They didn't know the continuity. They probably didn't even know the difference between DC and Marvel. But you know what? For 1 second, we all enjoyed the same movie.
They probably
I
like
thought
the
that was pretty
Eric
good.
Bana version of or what's
Yeah.
his name? Yeah.
Yeah, they probably like the Eric Bana version of the whole.
Tom probably, Index Sonic probably heard this as well when we was there watching it. But when the scene where Captain America was punching the punching bag, the girl behind us actually went, "That's not Channing Tatum."
Give me her
Did you hear
number.
that?
I don't know, yeah.
I don't know whether to laugh or cry at that.
That's fucking awesome. It's like, that's not Channing Tatum. Where is it? Oh, go see that stupid ass. What was that? Fucking Battleship movie?
Didn't she get up and left?
You want to see Channing Tatum? You
Yeah!
piece of-
Oh my god, yeah, right at the end of the movie, there was like 10 minutes left to go, and all the people sat behind us just got up and walked out.
One does not
Seriously.
simply walk out of a Marvel movie before the credits are over.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like 10 minutes though, it's like you sat through the entire movie. Why did they feel the need to leave just then? It was ridiculous.
They weren't the hardcore fans, that's those scenes at the end of those movies, those are for us. They're not going to get it
Okay,
anyway.
so here's
They
what
don't know who the
happened
fuck
Here's
Thanos
what happened
is.
in my theater. And in case you people haven't noticed, this is spoiler territory, so shut it off if you don't want to be spoiled. But I'm sitting there, and fucking Thanos shows up. And I'm like, fuck yeah! And there's like 10 of us, cheering at the screen. Everybody's looking at us kind of like, okay, we don't get it. And
I
that's
had
how
the
you
same
separated the hardcore from the people that are there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Such a
That's
beautiful
who-
moment.
That's who I told you it was, Tom. When,
Yeah, I wasn't
Yeah.
sure who it was. I thought it was someone else, like a scroll, like
challenge.
a pink scroll or something like that, because of the chin.
Oh, he
To
looks
challenge
like a
Earth
scroll,
is to
but he's
court
not.
death.
Yeah, as soon as we got out, I was straight on my iPhone just googling it, and I found out like 5 minutes later who it actually was.
Yeah, I was there with a date, and she was like, well, okay, I really don't know who the fuck that is, and who the fuck is that? I'm like, you don't know who Thanos is? I'm gonna
Do you-
introduce you to the Infinity Gauntlet.
hmm
Do you reckon he's going to be like the main bad guy in the next Avengers film, or is he going to be the main
Oh, of
bad
course.
guy, like a full film or
No,
something?
I'm saying Thor.
Really?
Because honestly, how is he gonna get the Infinity Gauntlet?
True.
That is- And the Infinity Gauntlet
Lots
did
of
make
ways.
a little quick cameo in the full film.
Right. And honestly, here's one of the complaints I hear a lot of people having about the Avengers, and I'm gonna talk about it for a second, but then I'm gonna kind of explain why it didn't happen. People are like, one of the main complaints is, Thor and Odin and how they explain how he got back to Earth. Why didn't they just shoot sets on Asgard and all that? They can't. Those sets are literally packed away in boxes until they have to reopen the warehouse. Like, you can't just pull out, like, all those major sets, set it up, shoot it for, like, 10 seconds. You know, it's
At
like,
least, yeah,
at
I
least
thought a
they
wizard did it.
explained it. You know,
The
at least
only
they're like,
way they could have done anything on Asgard is if they had literally shot it while making Thor.
Right.
They said, right, okay, let's quickly jump in now while you're making this, shoot 2 minutes, and then leave.
Right, but
I-
see, and then the other issue they would have had is what people don't understand is Anthony Hopkins and them are all signed on to 3 movies. What if they show up in Thor, you know, in Avengers? That's 1 movie. They show up in Thor 2. Come Thor 3, they go, oh, we don't want to be in it unless you pay us 8 times the amount of money. They have to recast everybody. That's clearly not going to happen.
You see, I think those people are missing the point, and that is that a wizard did it. Whenever there's a continuity problem, a wizard did it.
I'm good with that.
Gandalf showed up.
Well,
Yeah.
I just reckon they can't be asked to get the big ass green screen out of the cupboard.
Yeah, that could work too.
I'm pretty sure they
I
have.
like that. I've heard, is it Mark Ruffalo's actually said, I think he's signed up for 7 Marvel movies
Yeah.
now.
Something
think it was
crazy like
6.
that.
So I think he's going to turn up in Iron Man 3 and Thor 2 and his own movie.
Well,
Yeah, here's my
looking at all of it.
question. For all the sequels moving forward now, when we get, Thor 2 and Iron Man 3 and whatever, now that they've proven that they're part of a bigger universe, how are they going to explain away, like when Iron Man's in a jam? Oh shit, I'll just call up my buddy the Hulk.
Well,
He'll come and sort this out for me.
That's my other thing about the Avengers. They're like, okay, at the beginning they're talking about, you know, Iron Man and all that shit. And they're like, oh, I thought I wasn't wanted. Hey guys, where's Rhodey? You have War Machine. He's technically a part of the government. Why wasn't Shield just like, yo, give us that guy in the better suit?
Again, a wizard did it.
well, maybe.
Here's a cool bit of trivia, though, quickly, I found out earlier today. You know when the Hulk talks in those, 2 lines in the film, do you know who voices him?
Who?
Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, you damn straight it is.
Yeah,
I thought
Lou
that was
Ferrigno
just
did that
awesome.
shit.
I
thought
did
that
not
was
catch
awesome.
that.
I've got to admit, the Hulk in the film, I think he basically probably was the funniest hero on that screen through the whole fight.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
All
Oh,
the
yeah.
biggest laughs came from Hulk, definitely.
People
Yeah.
applauded in my theater when the Hulk came on screen and started kicking ass.
To me, what happened was like the Hulk versus, you know, Loki scene happened. And everybody
Oh,
just kind of
yeah.
laughing. And I just stood up, started clapping, and then everybody just
Yep.
followed. It was
Mhm.
like a wave of claps. Like, that was just amazing.
And also, when I first saw the Hulk, like when Banner first hulks out,
Oh,
dude, is it me or did that shit turn into a horror movie?
It did. The lighting. There was even a jump scare at one
Yeah, I
point
was-
when he comes up.
Like, legitimately, I was fucking scared of Hulk.
As
I
you
was-
should be. Hulk
Okay,
should be scary.
and that's another complaint, you know, people are having. Like, oh, Black Widow, she's a top secret agent. She wouldn't be scared. It's like, yes, she would.
Okay, dude, seriously, if you fucking saw the Hulk and you were in a cramped space, would you want to stay and fight that thing or run the
And
fuck
it's like,
out of there?
of course she's crying. He fucking punches her across the room. Like, she's lucky she survived that. Of course she's gonna like have a, you know, shock. She almost just died.
Yeah.
Yeah, is the Hulk after all just like a big scary monster and everything like that?
Yes.
It's like thing is, I went to this screaming twice. I went the second time with Tom, and the first time I went with one of my friends. She'd never seen the previous films to it. She knows nothing about comic books, and she said she really enjoyed the film.
Yeah,
Good-
see,
good-
that
she
happened
just-
with a bunch of people that I know too. They were all just like talking, and they're like, oh, some of them haven't seen Hulk, some haven't seen Thor, some haven't even seen Captain America. I was
Yeah.
like, what?
My
And that's
date
what's
said the
beautiful.
movie was cute.
It's
Yeah,
that's
it's true,
the
though, the
beautiful
movie
thing
was
about it.
cute.
God damn it, what does that even mean?
Well, but Black Widow and Hawkeye, they're all in love and stuff, and it's nice. And Iron Man loves his girlfriend, and it's sweet. But where's your heart,
They do a
Sean?
lot of running around and they wear colourful costumes and
No.
True enough.
I'm gonna say just it has to be the best sequence of almost any movie I've seen. How they pulled off that like 2-minute pan around the city. You know, starting
that
with
was
Cap
freaking
fighting
awesome.
and through the sky and all those
that was
Leviathan.
just so awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I literally like my jaw just dropped at that scene.
It
I
was
looked
like
at my
a
wife and I
comic
said,
book.
"Wow." Yeah, it was like the opening of Earth's Mightiest Heroes, where the camera keeps panning. It was exactly that. Like, it was so well done.
Oh, dude, you know that you know that scene where like all the heroes are like gathered together and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I had the ultimate nerdgasm at that point. Like when the
Me
score
too.
hit and like
Uh-huh.
you see like Hulk roaring and shit. I was like, oh yeah, shit is about to go down.
My jaw was just slacked for the whole time. It's like, I can't even judge this movie because I can't believe what I am seeing on
Same.
screen. It's something I never thought I would ever see.
It was just a total experience movie.
Yes, it was.
It was incredible. And you know that scene where Hulk basically grabs Loki and smashes him on the floor and he
Oh,
decides
yeah.
to keep doing that.
Victory.
Did that
Purely
scene remind
God.
anyone else of the opening scene of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where the baby basically grabs Roger Rabbit and smashes him from side to side in the exact same way?
Yeah.
Seriously, watch them both side by side. It's almost the exact same thing.
Oh wait, I want to give a moment of silence to something, and that's DC.
Yeah.
And why I'm giving them a moment of silence is because Joss Whedon literally went to them with every fucking imaginable movie, and they turned him away, being like, "Oh, you're just a TV guy." Haha.
Yep.
Well, fuck you, DC.
I still want to see Joss Whedon's Wonder Woman film.
Me
So
too,
do
but
I.
he's
So
never
do
gonna
I.
do that again because they
Oh,
fucked
never.
it so many times, and thank
Yeah, I
God.
mean, dude, DC and Warner Bros. They're so fucking dumb, man.
But,
They're
but
like,
don't
oh,
worry.
Be away about it.
Guys,
It-
don't worry. He will rise.
oh right, Nolan has a plan, just like how every other fucking director has a plan to make a fucking trilogy. You fucking asshats.
Joe
Ugh.
Johnson had a plan for Green Lantern. We saw what happened to that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
I don't know if you guys saw this, but this is really pissing me off. There was a leaked type of thing that was going around a while ago, and I'm able to confirm this a little more through one of my friends who works in a warehouse where they're printing and manufacturing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So the trilogy is obviously going to come out, the Nolan Batman trilogy. It's called the Dark Knight trilogy, and the siding of Batman Begins has been retitled The Dark Knight Begins.
Are you fucking joking?
Really?
Yeah.
Look, I know Dark
Seriously?
Knight was the popular one. I know it was the one that made the money, but what's wrong with having Batman in the title of a Batman
Yes.
movie?
What's wrong with that?
I saw
That
that. Like,
really
he was,
pisses me off.
he was like, I'm not sure if this is a production placeholder or anything because he works, as a higher up marketing. He makes the ads and everything. He's like, I'm not sure if this is a fuck up. But I was like, oh my God, are you fucking serious?
Dude, that is just the dumbest fucking thing that you can fucking do. I mean, just like, oh, we're gonna change from Batman Begins to Dark Knight Begins, and then just Dark Knight, then Dark Knight Rises. Are you?
Okay, guys. Everyone just take a breather and count to 10.
Take a,
This is nerd rage.
Man, I'll count to my dick. Fuck Nolan and his stupid ass titling and shit of the fucking. Oh, let's just make it the Dark Knight because everyone's so goddamn stupid that they don't even know what the hell Batman Begins is, and when they see the word Dark Knight, the title Dark Knight, they just jump at the chance to buy the movie. You're like, oh, Dark Knight. This ain't Dark Knight. This Batman Begins. What the fuck is this?
What sticks in my craw about the whole Warner Brothers DC thing is, unlike Marvel, who has their properties spread all over the place
They
between
own it.
Lionsgate and Sony, they own it. And besides Batman and Superman, what are like the only other two DC movies they've done? Jonah Hex, which totally fucking sucked, and Green
It
Lantern,
sucked
which
because
also
of Megan
sucked.
Fox.
And I love Jonah Hex. Have you been reading All-Star Western? It's fucking awesome. He teamed up with Wild West versions of Hawkman and Hawkwoman.
Huh.
It's off the freaking chain.
This is another thing. Like, I was talking with people, they're like, this movie isn't as ambitious as you're making it seem. I'm like, dude, 3 different studios made Iron Man, Cap, Hulk, and Thor, and they've come together to make one movie.
And it's funny too. They're saying it's unambitious, like it's a bad thing. Yeah, the story is simple: good guys versus bad guys. But that's the point. It's simple that because they can have all the big, huge stuff and work all the nice little character moments in there.
I think they
Simple
just
isn't
saw
a bad
because it's
thing.
not. I think they just saw because it's not the Justice League movie. So
Uh,
that's what I want to see. They love Batman so
And,
much.
and plus, what are they gonna do with the Justice League movie? Focus it all on Batman from his point of view?
It'll have to be Superman.
But the thing is, I reckon the one thing that they've got done right with this Avengers film is that a lot of criticism that a lot of going into this film from myself, I noticed from a lot of people, is that how they're going to balance the characters out, who's going to get more screen time. Because a lot of people I talked to who were into these films saying, oh, it's going to be Robert Downey Jr. He's going to get the most screen time because he's the most successful actor out of the whole bunch apart from Samuel Jackson. And I think they got the right director to actually do this, Joss Whedon. He well known with doing big cast characters.
Yeah,
Well,
he's an ensemble director.
Buffy,
And-
Firefly.
and
Exactly.
yeah, and he's good with dealing with characters and big casts. So I think he was the perfect choice for that film.
Absolutely.
Oh, hands down.
Yeah.
Avengers is as good as it is because, yet again, Marvel picked the right man for the job.
Yeah, Marvel knows what the fuck they're doing when it comes to writers and directors.
I think with one
Except
thing,
on their animated television series, it seems.
Yeah.
That's because
Yeah.
they put Jeff Loeb in charge.
And with DC, it's the other way around completely. They know
Uh-huh.
exactly who to give their TV shows to, but they can't get a movie
Oh,
off the
besides
ground. that's
Beware the
super
Bat,
good.
but
Oh,
comes.
yeah, I forgot
We
about
haven't
that.
seen that yet, so we really can't.
Yeah, for all we know, it might be good.
He fights a pig with a machine gun.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that was in the New 52. Wait.
That's all I'm gonna
Is
say.
it Mr. Pig from the
Professor
Batman
Pig.
and Robin
Professor
thing?
Pig.
It's
Yeah, okay,
Professor
I'm okay with that. I liked that villain.
Pig. Yeah.
In the
He's
box.
insane and fucked up, so.
Yeah,
but I
classic
think-
Batman.
but I reckon we can all agree on like the one line which I think everyone laughed at in the Avengers film was when Thor says, "You do not talk about my brother that way," and Black Widow said, "He killed 84 people in 2 days. He's adopted."
Yeah.
He's adopted, yeah.
He's
Oh,
adopted.
that's what I want to say too. Favorite lines. My favorite line is when they're all sitting there in the town square. And it's like, okay, Hawkeye, I want you uptown covering. Iron Man, I want you here, there. Hulk, smash.
Yeah.
He's basically
Yeah.
like Hulk. Just go have fun. Like,
Yeah.
I would have loved
Do
it.
your
If,
thing.
I would have loved it if Cap said, "And Hulk, go to town."
hmm Favorite line in that whole thing, Hulk, smash.
Let's see, my favorite. I don't know what my favorite line is. It's. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. They're all memorable. That's the thing.
Yeah.
What about when Iron Man has Hawkeye there? It's like, okay, Legolas.
Yeah, actually, I think probably that one was my favorite. Yeah.
I liked that, but at the same time, like that's what the haters have been saying the whole time is they've basically just been comparing him to Legolas and the girl. I don't even know her name from the Hunger Games.
Uh-huh.
And why
Yeah.
not Green Arrow, though?
But
No one gives a shit about Green Arrow.
Oh, I'm the only one, it seems.
when me and Tom were talking about who we like to see in the next Avenger film, okay, let's just throw everything out the window here. It's like, okay, none of the studios got none of the rights to on all the film. Marvel got all the rights back. Who would you like to see as a villain in the next Avengers film?
Oh,
If
Galactus.
the studio.
Yeah.
Right.
That's pretty
Yeah.
huge, Galactus.
Well, me and Tom talk about this because 20th Century Fox, if they don't make a Fantastic Four film within 2 years, I think it is, they lose the rights to
Yeah, I
that.
actually think it's by the end of this year they have to start production or they lose the rights.
So they get. I would like to see Doctor Doom.
Oh my God, yes.
Doctor
Yeah.
Doom
Yeah.
done right.
Well,
I
it's
mean,
like-
hell,
Yeah, really.
even
It's
Stan Lee didn't like him.
Here's the thing: it's like if Fox is afraid to, use Galactus. They're afraid to put these giant machines wrecking cities. Marvel showed us with this a flying serpent, and they'll fucking willing to do it and make heroes. Just imagine how awesome it would be. Make a Fantastic Four, and then tie it into being like, oh, we have to unite with these guys because there's this Galactus coming. Like, holy shit, that would be beyond epic.
You see, personally, I want Thanos, if only because I really want Darkseid, and Thanos is, kind of the Marvel equivalent in
Yeah.
a weird way.
And also,
Yeah.
I want Thanos dating Death, basically.
Yeah, me too. To challenge humanity is to court death. I squeed in the theater. I'm like, hee, I know
See,
what
like-
that means.
I was talking with a bunch of people, and Thanos, even if he's not the villain, what if he's the setup to the Guardians of the Galaxy, because they are the first to, the more important team to fight him. So what if they're gonna use him to bring us that movie? I mean, how fucking awesome would that be?
Dude,
At
that'd
this
be
point, I
crazy.
wouldn't put anything past Marvel.
And-
At this point, they could do anything.
But yeah,
That's what I loved about it. I mean, Nolan films, they're not comic book movies, as we've discussed before. They are, obviously it's Batman, but it's not comic book Batman. This,
Right.
it was like watching a comic book
Oh,
on
yeah.
the screen. And that just means they can go basically anywhere with this series.
Right.
yeah, totally.
And that's what I love. They've got so much freedom in their characters. They haven't basically, pushed themselves into a corner and saying, oh, we can't do Clayface, we can't do the Mad Hatter, because it wouldn't work in the Nolan verse.
Yeah.
and now everybody's gonna be like, oh, Batman shouldn't be this or this because of the Nolan movies. It basically changed everything for the better and for the fucking worse.
But I think the thing we've got to remember is that when it comes to Dark Knight and Avengers, with the Batman films, is that it was pretty obviously portrayed as like a more realistic version of
It's
a what if.
Right.
It was.
It's an apples and oranges kind of thing. We can't really compare them because they're
Yeah.
polar opposites.
Yeah. And the Marvel one gone with the more comic book thing, but they've done it right. It's not like it got so cheesy, ended up like Batman and Robin sort of territory, but they got a good ground with it.
See, you make a great point. That's the thing. I think DC tried that with Green Lantern, but they failed hardcore because they had a shitty script and a shitty director.
Yeah.
Honestly, I
And fucking
wanted to
Ryan
love that
Reynolds.
movie. I wanted that movie to shut me the fuck up so I could be like, fuck yeah, I'm back on the DC bandwagon. Because I used to be a giant DC fanboy. But honestly, in the last like 5 years, it just completely turned me off from that property. Like, there's nothing there to even entertain me anymore.
Yeah, and also they
Despite
had
what I keep yelling at you.
they had Blake Lively in that movie.
And, okay, I don't have. My biggest problem isn't her because I've seen she can act. If you watch like what was it, The Town or something that she's in,
Oh
Yes,
yeah, I've seen that
she
one.
is a good actress. Once again, piece of shit script, just like Ryan
They
Reynolds.
gave her nothing to
I
do.
think she also
Right.
needs a decent director.
Yeah, exactly. Ryan
that's
Reynolds
Ben
why
is
Affleck
a great
is a
actor.
good director because he can act.
Yeah.
Not in everything, but he can act.
Well,
And that's why these Marvel movies soar so high. Really great screenplays.
Well, with all these Marvel movies coming out and like them now, we already know who the main bad guy. Well, we sort of know who the main bad guy for Iron Man 3 is going to be, the Mandarin and everything like that. But who you reckon are going to be the bad guys for Captain America, Thor, and the Hulk?
Ooh,
Because-
good question.
Mm.
I'm gonna say Serpent Society for Captain America. Make it more of a spy story in the future.
Well, they did release some information. I think what the producer said they're going to try to give it a more They're going to make the story on Captain America trying to fit into a modern society sort of thing, and working with Shield with Hawkeye and Black Widow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say Baron Zemo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, who doesn't
yeah,
want to?
that's right. I forgot
Do
about
you
him.
reckon Red Skull is actually dead?
No.
No, of course. They're saving him for another movie. They're gonna
According
trot
to
him out. some-
IMDb, I read this earlier. Obviously, it just shows that IMDb is not reliable. But according to that, Red Skull can be seen standing next to Thanos at the end of the credits in Avengers.
Nah.
I
and
like
also-
it.
Oh, also, guys, can I rant a little bit?
Go for it.
Isn't that what we do?
Oh,
right.
okay, good, because I don't wanna turn you guys off or anything.
No, right.
All right. So speaking of IMDb, these people are just so goddamn stupid. I was on the Avengers, checking what's the rating on IMDb and shit. I was like, you know what? I might as well check out the message boards and shit, like the forums or whatever for the Avengers.
Bad
So
idea.
I know it's a bad idea because these people are fucking like, what movie did they see? All right, here's this one guy who I'm pretty sure is deaf, dumb, and just overall retarded. All right, this guy said, like, here's my main problem with the movie. Captain America gave Nick Fury $10. Okay, what's your what's your reason? Oh, that's because Cap is from the 40s and he was basically tipping the help. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
Shit.
Oh, but do you remember at Sonic when we watched the movie? As soon as that moment happened, she went, "I don't get it."
Yo,
This
God,
girl
no.
behind us, I don't get it.
Like, are you serious? What movie did what? Were you paying attention? Were you
That's
just
prime vintage Whedon setting up a joke and paying it off down the line.
The
Yeah.
problem is, when that joke was being set up, this girl was too busy thinking, "That's not Channing Tatum,"
she was
because it
thinking
was
about,
the same girl.
she was just thinking, oh man, my hair is blonde. Oh my god, we're
It was-
sitting in a movie theater.
That
No,
so has to
actually,
be the
she's a
title
black
for this
chick.
episode.
She
That's
did
not
have
Channing Tatum.
it on highlights.
She
funny
was a black chick, by the way, Sean.
I don't even give a shit.
So she wasn't blonde.
she's giving our fucking race a badass name, like, just setting us back at least 500 years. I might as well be up on stage doing a jig or something, going, "You like this, master?"
It's $10.
if I laugh at that, does it make me racist?
I don't even give a shit. It's man, dumb fucking bitch. I mean, and also, like, everybody on IMDb were like, "Who's Green? Like, why is Green Arrow in this movie?" Did they?
Is he dressed in green? Is there any green in his costume whatsoever?
Where's the boxing
He wasn't
glove
dressed
arrow?
in purple, I'll tell you that.
Ugh.
Which
So,
again,
like-
that's even the only slight nerd complaint you can lobby at the movie is that Hawkeye didn't look like his comic book counterpart while
Honestly,
everyone else did.
I really like what he looks like in the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it too.
Yeah.
I couldn't complain too much.
Isn't that what he looks like in the Ultimate Universe?
Yeah.
Right.
'Cause
And honestly,
Thor
was
makes
he
me
gonna
happy
fucking
also.
wear a purple fucking, like kilt essentially? No.
Yeah.
How retarded would that look?
Yeah, it makes less sense that he's an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., S.H.I.E.L.D. with the most lax dress code ever.
I do want to say that the one character I really like in this movie, despite hating the character in his 2 previous movies, is Iron Man. Like, I'm not a fan of that character at
Yeah.
all, but I thought
Me neither.
as a team, he clicked so good with everybody.
You
And
don't
here's
like
what I
Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man?
No, I like his performance. I just don't like the Iron Man character.
Oh,
I
yeah,
like
yeah,
him.
yeah.
I'm
Like,
not,
I'm not
in
a
love
fan
with
of
him. And yet, here's the funny thing: as a supporting character, he kicks so much
Yeah,
ass as a
exactly.
supporting character.
So, yeah, going back to the whole villain thing, when do who you reckon is going to be the villain for Captain America? Because this the one that's been bugging me quite a bit because they're not going to use Red Skull. The only
Right.
other Captain American villain I can think of is Arcade. But yeah, again, I'm not a big Captain America reader.
I'm saying
hate
it's
monger.
got to be Zemo or Winter Soldier.
Oh
Winter
yeah,
Soldier.
grab Winter
Either
Soldier.
those two or AIM. Maybe
Yeah.
Baron Zemo and AIM.
I'd like that.
Artem Zola?
Yeah. Well, they set him up in the last movie. He just has to become a robot now,
Yeah.
and he's ready to go.
Yeah.
Be a nice way to tie all the shit together. That it's a guy he remembers from the
How about,
past.
But I got a theory when it comes to with the Red Skull because you know where the big beam right came down. I reckon he got transported to Asgard. I reckon he's somewhere
Oh, yeah.
somewhere out of space.
Here, let me pull out my tinfoil hat theory. Avengers, even though Loki was the villain, a lot of those scenes I thought would have made more sense, if not a little more sense, if the Red Skull was in his role. Like when they go to Germany and he's looking over them, it's like, kneel before me.
That
And,
would
I'm
have
like,
been
yeah.
amazing with Red Skull.
and the one guy, there'll always be men like you.
Yeah,
And then even
yeah.
later when he's in the cage and some other stuff later on, I'm like, this might have made more sense if it was Red Skull and not Loki. But of course, if they didn't do that, they'd have no way to get Thor
From
in
what
on
I
the story.
understand while reading back, when it was released, Hugo Weaving was signed on to only one movie.
Yeah.
So, I think that's why they left it open-ended at the end of Cap 1. He gets teleported with the Tesseract, but we don't know where he is. Like, what if he just shows up, in the Silent Forest with Enchantress or something like that? Like, wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be.
That would be cool. Also, I would love I would love like a Thor movie, like in Thor 2, like if Thor fought like what was that fire demon? What's his name? Surtur or something?
Something like that. He has a lot of big monster enemies. Like,
Yeah.
who's the wolf Ragnarok guy? Like
No,
the
he's
end
like-
of the world? I don't know my Norse mythology worth shit, but that
Yeah.
guy.
I just want to see basically Thor versus the devil, basically. I mean, I want to see that,
The
Now-
wrestling crew with their magical crowbar, that's who he's going to fight.
Who do we think, I guess, if there is an Incredible Hulk 2, which I still don't think there's going to be, I mean, it's quite clear it's going to be the leader if they do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, good. Yeah,
they
I
set up.
hope it is.
yeah.
Mentioning Thor a moment ago, obviously earlier we mentioned how War Machine wasn't in the film at all. They went to the trouble of explaining where Natalie Portman was when all this was
Yeah,
going
exactly.
True.
Yeah.
On. Why
Well,
couldn't
they
they
did
just
that.
say, oh, he's out of action at the moment?
Yeah, why couldn't they just say his suit is in the lab or something? Done.
Maybe
There we go.
this might be just a deleted scene or something they
Maybe.
felt they didn't need.
Right.
Probably.
Well,
I'm
how
looking
exci-
forward to seeing when the DVD and
How
Blu-ray.
excited are we for that? There's an hour of cut footage. Oh, God.
Wait, there's an
Yeah.
hour of cut footage?
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't wait. It's gonna
We
be
all
the
know
best
why War
edited-
Machine. I was gonna say, I think we all know why War Machine's not in the movie. There was a very important one black guy rule that was going on. That's why it was only Nick Fury.
We
Yeah,
can't
I mean,
overshadow
Hollywood-
the main black guy.
I'll say Hollywood, does that. They're like, all right, we got black characters. Whoa, 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 whoa. You're gonna have two?
Too
Anyone else
much.
Anyone else think that blonde girl who was in the city during the attack is going to be important in another movie? Because they had so many shots where she was the
Yeah.
focus, and I was like, who
No.
the hell is this?
All right, we're starting a rumor right now. It's Miss Marvel.
Yeah, there we go. You beat me
Sharon
to it. I
Carter.
wanted to start that. Yeah, they did build her up quite a bit. They showed her a
she's
lot.
in the trailer. There's like 5 different shots where she's saved by Captain America and other
She
characters.
fucked
Like,
Joss
bitch,
Whedon
just
to
move
get
out
that
of the
shot.
way.
Did,
And
well,
then she's interviewed on the news at the end of the movie as well, and it's like,
Yeah.
who is this? Is she like? Is she gonna turn out to be some bigger character than she's like appears to be at
She's
the
the
moment?
next Agent Coulson.
Oh,
Well-
Coulson, man. Now there was a guy who got a great
alive.
character journey from Iron Man 1 to this.
I know.
He's not dead. He's not dead.
Oh, he's
no.
he's got to be Division. Come on.
Well, he's got.
Nick Fury said that he's dead, but Nick Fury also said that he found his cards in his pocket. And
Yeah, he
you never
lied
actually
the whole
see
fucking
him dead.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Also, what we're getting here is don't trust a black guy, Sean.
Plus, there was an interview with the actor that plays him. I forget his name, but he said that he's been like to the set of a couple of other Marvel movies, and he's in talks to be in another one. And it's like, well, unless there's like prequels to the Avengers,
And
he's
also,
got.
like, yeah, let's not forget those 5-minute shorts, which they said they're gonna announce something big in the coming months. So let's say Comic-Con. They're probably gonna tie in one of those 5-minute shorts. What if it's related to him after death? You know, what if they do put him in Division Project or something like that? Why not?
Did anyone catch the whole, like, cool meta-narrative of the whole thing that, Agent Coulson is a superhero fan. He's a fanboy, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
And it's his death that gets the Avengers together and start working like a team. How awesome is that? A fan saved the day, essentially.
Hell yeah.
When they finally get around, God knows how long it's going to take. Make the second Avenger film, probably 2015 or 2016.
Yeah.
They who do you reckon they're going to add more heroes to it, or do you reckon they're just going to keep it as it is? Because
Honestly,
They've got to add Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, true.
I want to see Ant-Man, Wasp, the Guardians show up if their movies happen, and Doctor Strange, Falcon.
Black
See, the
Panther.
problem is if you
T'Challa.
introduce the Guardians, they're going to say they don't look like they did in Green Lantern.
oh God,
Like, who
It-
the fuck is this? Where's Batman at? Okay, I'm gonna bust you over
Where's
the head with
Ryan
a brick.
Reynolds?
It's funny you should mention that about adding more characters. Our buddy James over at Manic Expression, I watched his review before coming on here, and he actually mentioned something kind of scary that, if they did add more characters to the Avengers, because this was a perfectly balanced film, if they added more characters, that would be the downfall. That would be the thing that killed it. I'm like, oh my god, you actually sort of have a point here.
See, like, I was thinking, if they were to cast, for Nova or someone who I wanted, and one name shows up to my mind, and I know people are going to hate me for this, but I want Ryan Reynolds to play Nova. I actually think he could do it with a good script.
True.
Like, give him that chance, and it would be another fuck you to DC.
Yeah, just don't make him too goofy.
I still
man.
want to see him in Deadpool.
Oh, yeah, hands down,
Oh.
but that's never going
I
to happen.
don't. I'm so sick of Ryan Reynolds at this point.
well, there is
Just
a
put Nathan Fillion in any role that Ryan Reynolds is up for, and it'll be
There
much better.
you go. I'm fine with that.
guys. We can't forget there is a new X-Men film coming out called The Wolverine. But
The more I hear about that film, though, the more excited I am, because they are actually going to shoot in Japan now, whereas before they were going to have to go build a set and shoot.
Actually, they were gonna shoot in a
Canada.
Japanese restaurant, and that was it.
They were just gonna take Hugh Jackman there. Okay, here you go. You're in Japan now.
It's gonna take them outside of Shogun.
Okay, everybody on set, squint.
The Silver
Perfect.
Samurai is just gonna be a guy wrapped in tinfoil.
All of a sudden, Hideo Kojima comes out of nowhere, and people are like,
How
"Who the
much-
fuck is this guy?"
How much you guys want to bet, like, if it is Silver Samurai and Wolverine 2, I guarantee he's not going to be wearing that suit because Fox shies away from it. It's just going to be a guy with a samurai sword.
Yeah, he just goes, I'm the Silver Samurai, and he has like white hair or something.
Yeah.
And also, he's gonna turn out to be a snatcher.
Well,
No one else get that reference?
Only slightly. Explain, Sean.
All right,
Well-
Sega CD.
Oh, okay.
But I really wish because I recently saw the X-Men First Class film, and I really wish I want to see a sequel to that. I do not want to see no more Wolverine. We see enough of Wolverine.
They're making both, so.
Isn't it funny how the Wolverine in the comics is becoming a lot like the Wolverine in the movies? The fact that he's
absolutely
everywhere,
hate it.
you can't get away from him. Marvel just puts him in front of, or Fox just puts him in front of everything they need to sell.
Whoa, guys, do you hear that? It's crickets, because that's how much I care about Wolverine. Fuck him.
But guys, reason why Wolverine's everywhere because he just wants some love. He's a lonely man.
Man, Wolverine spends most of his time in the jungle, basically banging animals anyway. So
My problem with Hugh Jackman Wolverine, especially with Wolverine Origins, there never comes the point where he's scary to the audience, and Wolverine should be scary to the audience.
it's like
at
the
some
Hulk.
point.
Hulk should be scary to the audience, and he was.
Exactly.
But Wolverine was just so. Oh, he got the name Wolverine because of some dumbass story that his girlfriend told him.
Yeah, they missed such an opportunity with Wolverine Origins because he should have basically been like a complete arsehole, like a 180 of his character in X-Men. They should just made him like an animal that just kills people, psychopath.
Exactly. That's what I'm hoping that they do with the Wolverine. Like, since he just lost his memory, he has no idea who the fuck he is.
Right, he should just be a savage.
Yeah, he's just gonna kill everybody. He's gonna kill like everybody who worships that fucking those underage animes. You mean all of them? So he's just gonna.
All right, so on the Avengers end, let's wrap this up. I'm pretty sure all across the board we're giving it a 10.
Damn right.
It's a game changer. I don't know if I would put it in my top 3 of Begin, Spider-Man 2, and Superman 2, but it definitely is a game changer. It's a
honestly,
sight for the eyes.
For me, it's knocked out The Dark Knight Begins now. Okay, it's knocked it out of first place. So
God damn, I
give it a
hate this shit.
10.5.
Stop mentioning The Dark Knight Begins.
Well, No, go ahead, Sonic.
But yeah, The Dark Knight Begins. It's beginning. You don't get the concept. They have to change it, otherwise it won't sell.
yeah.
You know what? They should just call it Beginning. That's it. No,
Just
actually,
call it Heath Ledger died. Give us more money.
the trilogy starts here. That's the title of the movie.
Well, we're on the subject of big movies and stuff like that. So we saw Avengers clean up at the box office. Dark Knight Rises is almost certain to clean up. What movies do you think are going to fail this year of all the big summer movies that are coming out?
I hope Battleship does, but I don't think it will because the retarded Transformer crowd's gonna love it.
Exactly.
Battleship
They're setting it up to be the Transformers of
Hasn't
this
Battleship
summer.
already come out, or is that just in the UK?
Yeah, already out here in the UK.
It's
Seriously?
UK and Australia, I think, has it.
I mean, it has Rihanna in it, so it's destined to fail.
Well, you want to hear some interesting news about Rihanna? She's actually going to be. They're making a 6th Fast and Furious film, and she's going to be playing the main bad guy in it.
Oh, I'm fucking excited. Hell yeah.
Vin Diesel kicking her ass.
I love that shit.
Just imagine her just sitting down like a boss and just first from the top of it. Yeah, I'm female and I'm gonna kick your fucking ass. Now look at my tits.
Actually, they're gonna have Gina Carano in there, and by all means, Gina Carano for Wonder Woman.
Yes.
That needs to happen. Men in Black 3, that's coming out this summer too. I honestly think that's going to be a crapshoot. That could go either way.
I think
depending
it's
how
going to
much
succeed
it
just
will.
because it's Will Smith and people eat up his movies like nothing.
I reckon,
Will Smith is awesome though.
but I reckon it's going to do well in money because it got a lot of nostalgia behind it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of people don't
My
remember
wife
how
is so
kind of
psyched
lackluster
to see
the
Men in
second-
Black 3. Like, I have no idea what she's smoking.
But hey guys,
like
no.
the animated
Fuck
kids.
Men in Black 3. Let's go watch a new Tyler Perry movie where it's gonna be a mix between comedy and drama, even though the comedy and drama don't mix well.
And then you're going to go to church at some point because
This summer, Medea gets AIDS.
And then even the AIDS movie is gonna probably set us back again like another 50 fucking years.
Okay, but so speaking of a movie I think that's going to fail, and I think this movie's going to suffer from it, and that's Total Recall.
The theater I was at, people seemed oddly excited for, which I can't say I
people
really
seem
understand.
excited, and people at Comic-Con and everything were excited, but it feels like another one of those Scott Pilgrim movies where us, the nerds, get excited, but the general crowd just kind of like...
Don't go to see it.
And
Yeah.
there's gonna be like basically a sleeper hit.
And it comes out the same day as The Bourne Legacy.
Oh,
That is a major... Because Bourne already has that name, and it has Jeremy Renner, who people are going to associate now with Hawkeye from the Avengers.
And there are two movies basically aiming to try and get the same
Right,
audience.
Exactly. So I think...
And a lot of people are going to go with the established.
They both seem to be movies where people haven't got their memories and they're getting their memories back.
And they punch lots of people.
So just like Green.
I want to
Okay,
see. I want to see another Indiana Jones movie with Shia LaBeouf.
Listen, Sean,
Right,
I'm going to
so-
leave my computer right now, walk to your house, and kick you.
Oh, but what about Dark Shadows? Or you know what? They might as well call it what it is: Tim Burton on autopilot. Although let's be fair, he's been on autopilot since after Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
know.
I might see that movie just for Eva Green.
I'm
Yeah.
just really shocked about one film. I'm really, really shocked. I can't understand how you American public has been doing this, but you can be making a box office hit with the Three Stooges. Why?
I have no idea what's
The
wrong with the
reviews are
retards
good,
over here.
We love
insanely.
the Stooges.
I know, but it's like the biggest WTF film. The guy,
No, you must understand that all Americans are fat, dumb, and from the South. So
Because reboots and remake rule the world at this point.
yeah,
It's not important that it's good, it's just important that it has name recognition.
I mean, and plus, like, and also, speaking of like names, I don't know why I just thought of this. Like, okay, Dark Knight Begins. It's just the trilogy starts here. Dark Knight. Yes, this is the one with Heath Ledger. This is the only one you're ever gonna see or memorize. You're gonna copy his fucking lines all the goddamn time because you're 13 years old and masturbate too damn much. And Dark Knight Rises. This one does not have Heath Ledger in it.
There's one little quick shout out thing I just want to say. I'm going to be selling a comic book, but I'm not actually sure I want to sell it, but I want to mention it on this podcast to just get a bit of interest in it if I do sell it. Have you guys ever heard of Spider-Man issue, the Amazing Spider-Man issue 96? Well, yeah, 96.
Is that the
Hold
one
on,
where
I'm
he
trying to
got
remember.
molested?
What is
Is that like one of the Morbius ones, or I can't remember?
No, it's the first ever comic to be talk about drugs in it.
It's the one where the
Oh,
guy
yeah,
throws fire
yeah.
on acid.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yep.
The one
And
that
I'll
Nixon
take
asked for,
of
yeah.
it, and I might be willing to sell it at some point down the line, and I just want to mention it on the podcast if anyone out there might have an interesting little offer for it now, because me and Tom looked up some prices for them, and they were ranging for how much were they ranging for? Tom, do you
I
remember?
think on eBay I could see it on buy it now for 60 quid. But you can get it for a lot more expensive other places.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
There's
Yeah.
the old comic I got out of my collection. But yeah,
Spider-Man, go talk to the kids about drugs.
Yeah, I don't know if I told you guys ever about my, mishap. Thank the fucking lords for eBay comic purchase that I made a couple years ago, where I was surfing eBay, for see new listings, and some guy went to put it as buy it now, and he had 600 Green Lantern comics, and he put it on buy it now for like $40 by accident instead of like 400 something or starting bid. So I bought it immediately, and he had to ship it because of that. Dude, I got issues in there that were standalone, like worth $70, $80, $90. I'm like, oh my god.
Dude, you should
Damn.
fucking sell that shit on eBay.
the one other comic which I'm quite happy about, which I got out of my collection, is you guys ever heard of that 6-parter Venom comic series called Lethal Predator?
Yep.
Yeah, I got all 6. All
Nice.
And also, like, if you can find this, the Green Arrow comic where Speedy is a drug
Roy
addict.
Harper. Yeah.
Yeah, Roy. He's on heroin, he's and
See,
then, like,
I
Green
want to
Arrow
read
looks-
that mostly because when Young Justice was on, I
Yeah.
heard about this story, and I was really hoping that during like the 10, 15 episodes where we don't see Speedy, because he's like
That
a
he was
rebel
off
now,
getting
I was
high.
hoping that he was all strung out on heroin.
Let me tell you this, Tom. I've read those stories. Young Justice did it better. In the comics, the world loves to shit over Roy Harper. First, he has a heroin addiction. Then he has a daughter. Then his daughter gets killed. Then T.J. Krull cuts his arm off. Then he becomes Arsenal. Then Red Hood and the Outlaws.
Dude, that kind of pissed me off, that the fact that they killed his daughter. I mean, wasn't she like
Yep.
a big supporting
Yes, she
character to
was.
to the Titans and stuff? I mean, she was
Yes,
so
she was.
adorable.
Yep, and they killed her off. And then
Why?
turned him into a freaking 90s comic hero.
Didn't she get killed off by quite a lame Batman villain?
Yeah, Prometheus.
Yeah.
Speaking of
not the
Prometheus,
new Alien
no.
movie.
Speaking of Prometheus, that movie's gonna be fucking epic.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh,
We forgot about Prometheus.
Man, I was watching the trailer, because we didn't, thank the Lord, I didn't get the Dark Knight Rises trailer when I was watching the Avengers, but we got Prometheus, and a bunch of people were behind me were like, what is this? What the hell's going on? I don't get it.
Actually, I was
I
surprised.
guess.
As we was walking out of the cinema, I saw the poster for Prometheus. I pointed it out to Sonic, and he didn't realise that Ridley Scott was directing the Alien prequel. So it was like,
So did
it's
you rev
amazing
up?
people
Did
are
you
still
like?
discovering the film.
Did you rev up your
That's-
legs and run real fast home?
Straight to the pub.
The only advertisement I have seen on that bloody film is in the cinema near where I live, and it's that one poster. I have not seen any advertising anywhere else for it. I reckon that
The
film.
advertising in the UK sucks for that film.
That's
Yeah,
terrible.
no. At the same time, I reckon, I don't know, maybe they didn't want to put a lot of money towards the advertising in it because they reckon it's not going to make a lot of money, but who knows?
Okay, now since there's obviously people here that are positive on the new Spider-Man trailer, so I'll let you guys talk about it for a second because I've done a complete fucking 180 on that movie.
And let
There's
me
two
just say for
shots
the
in that
record,
trailer
I have
that I-
always been against this one, so you guys talk amongst yourselves.
There's two shots in that trailer that I like because it makes me think it's on a bigger scale than it is, and that's the one wide shot where Spider-Man's standing on the edge of like this half-destroyed building, and then there's one where he's like hanging from a web, and then it's like him, and then he's like holding onto a helicopter or something. The only two shots I like, and the only reason is they remind me of when Sam Raimi's films were good.
Yep.
Actually, the one and only thing I like about it is like the joke that Andrew Garfield did. He's like, when the guy pulled a knife, he was like, "You find my weakness? It's small knives."
Yeah.
And that was it.
All right,
Yeah.
now Sonic,
I-
give
Can I
us
just say
give us your
the,
thoughts.
Okay, I'll let Tom finish first.
I was just going to say the only reason I like that shot where he's holding the helicopter is if you go back and look at Spider-Man 1, just replace the helicopter with like a little train car full of kids and Mary Jane, and it's basically the exact same thing.
Okay, right. This is what I reckon about the Amazing Spider-Man film. Personally, I'm not on like the whole bandwagon of it's like, oh no, it's going to be a good Spider-Man film. I'm pushing more towards it's like, oh dear God, this is not going to. This is not going. It's just not clicking with me, even though it's doing a lot of right things. It just one thing is really bugging me about this film. Tom might know what I mean by this. You guys might not know. The guy that got to play the Lizard.
Rice Ifans or whatever.
Yeah, Reese Ifans.
I'm not going to take him seriously because he's in one film which I seen, and I'm never going to take him as serious as an actor ever again, and that's Kevin Perry Go Large.
Yes, I'm
Anyone
aware
from
of that.
America? You've seen that, have you?
From the makers of Fat Slags. Yeah, I know my British stuff.
It's not
Oh,
really
dude, I
famous
actually
for
watched
Fat
Fast Flags.
See, Harry Enfield, the guy who plays Kevin in Kevin and Perry, he was a huge comedian in England in the 80s and 90s, and still kind of is. He's got a TV series and stuff, but he's hilarious, and he came up with this character of Kevin the teenager in a sketch series, and then they try and make a movie.
Okay, so
And he plays the main bad guy in it, and he's a DJ from Ibiza that is a complete utter twat.
And he drinks vodka through his
Through his
eyeball. That's
eye.
his whole character shtick.
see, like, I watched this trailer, right? And okay, so let me say it like this: my wife, she can't wait for it, but she also cosplays Black Cat and all that, so she's super excited. Me, on the other hand, like, she's talking to me, she's like, "Why aren't you excited?" And every time I see a scene from that movie, it seems like the director literally just goes in there and he waves his hands at Sony, says, "Okay, we're gonna be different than Raimi, and here's what we're doing."
Yeah.
Like, they took the whole first Raimi movie, like the trilogy, and said, "Okay, we have to be the exact opposite." And I fucking don't like it. Like, nothing in that trailer for me clicked anymore. Like, I'm not excited. I don't care about it anymore. Like, I don't care about seeing it.
Again, as I've bitched and moaned, to anyone who would listen, I mean, they didn't make this movie because they had a good idea or a good script. They made it so they could hold on to rights. They made it for considerably less, too. They got a cheaper director, cheaper actors.
Well,
I don't know how a good movie can come from that. I just don't.
They
Yeah,
paid
Right,
Andrew
his
Garfield
name is
50
Webb.
bucks.
His name is Webb.
and also as well, the other reason why I'm not going to take this actor seriously, the only other two films I've seen him in are 51st State, and in that he's walking around in a scene with just wearing like he's a cracked up drug head, and the other one is Love, Honor, Obey. He plays like this like Cockney gangster sort of thing, and
I love Love,
just
Honor,
thought,
Obey.
the
He's
first
brilliant.
image I saw of him is in a white coat and big glasses, and I just went to myself, no, just no.
Here's another one. Andrew Garfield. He was playing an adult in The Social Network, and yet he's playing a teenager in this. It's like he's supposed to be in high school, but the dude's like 30.
He was in an episode of Doctor Who in series 3 as well.
Wait, what was another TV show that Andrew Garfield was in? Like, I'm pretty sure he was in another one.
The only TV show I've seen him in is Doctor Who.
I mean, I think it was a show like where he played like this girl's neighbor, and he was trying to get with her, even though he was awkward as shit, and also she was a lesbian. You know.
And her name was Gwen Stacy. I don't see where you're going with this, Sean.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of that name, but nah, fuck it.
Well,
I don't know. I'm just honestly, I'm not. I don't care about this movie anymore. Like that's it.
Does anyone else see The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus?
Me.
Which was the
No, I
real
didn't.
last film that Heath Ledger did. He
Yeah.
did this
Yeah.
after Dark Knight, which everybody forgets.
Yeah. No, actually, no one even knows.
But Andrew Garfield's good in that film. Really good.
Oh, I'm not saying he's a bad actor. I'm just saying he's wrong for this role.
I
personally,
can see him in the role personally, but he's got the wrong script.
and plus also going on his talk when they interviewed the guy playing the lizard, he did let out that apparently he had to do voice dialogue for actually the lizard, so the lizard's going to be talking in this film. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to take him seriously as an actor. The lizard talking as well. I know he does it in the comic, but how are they going to make him sound like in the thing? Because they're trying to do that with Venom, and Venom just sound like you just put like echo effect on.
You know what the silly thing is? The Adventures of Tintin movie. In the comics and the cartoon, the little dog Snowy always spoke, but in the Adventures of Tintin movie, they decided to not have him speak because it was too silly. That's Tintin. He can get away with being silly, and even they thought that was too far.
Well, Spielberg and Peter Jackson had a plan. You have to remember.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I know.
But there's a
That was
point.
a bad-
Nicholson knows his stuff.
But yeah, again, there's a point between like trying to purvey a film and then just silliness. It's like, for example, looking at Batman and Robin, where would you draw the line with like silliness and like not doing the deed? Or I'm losing track with that.
Where do you draw the line with the silliness? Nipples.
Yeah. Just went over that silliness side. So, for example, when Poison Ivy got defeated, she said curses foiled, and I'm like, what?
Like,
You know,
curses? Are you fucking serious?
Well,
It's funny when you actually research Joel Schumacher, the filmmaker, and gay filmmaker, openly gay, and when you look at Batman and Robin through that lens, it's like, oh my god, this is the greatest piece of camp gay cinema ever made.
I mean,
Have you guys seen Orgasmo?
I've seen bits and
Superhero
pieces.
comedy by the makers of South Park.
Yeah.
And there's a scene in that where Orgasmo and Shoulder Boy run out of this building, and the guy's chasing him, stop at the door, and one of them goes, curses! And the other one turns to him and goes, curses? Like he's like such an idiot.
Yeah, because they already announcing a sequel for this, The Amazing Spider-Man, even though it's not even came out. We don't know it's going to be a hit. We don't know
They
it's
also
going to flop.
announced a sequel to Green Lantern before it came out.
Yeah, really.
And let's just say by miracle chance, The Amazing Spider-Man is a hit and it does well, makes a lot of money, and they do go on to make a sequel. Who do you reckon they're going to use as the villain for the sequel?
I don't even care.
Yeah, I know, neither do
I mean, the only thing
Vulture,
for me to
Mysterio,
make the
who
movie
cares?
interesting is have the lizard eat his own son.
Dude, you're sick.
No, what? I mean, that's
His
what he
son
did.
became a lizard in the comics.
I mean, he did that in the comics. I mean, he ate his own damn son because he was
It's so-
crazy.
This is
Do you know
so.
what the main problem with the new Spider-Man trailer is? Right at the end, you've got the same shot you've seen in the other trailers, except now there's this like blue smoke in the sky and all over the city.
And it's
And
dark.
we already know from spoilers on toy releases that there's going to be a lizard army. So now you just think, okay, they're copying Batman Begins of all movies now,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
they're basically going to gas the public and make them
It's
go
a
crazy.
gas attack all over the
Except
city.
this
Yep.
time- yeah, except this time they actually turn into lizards.
You're gonna try to take this movie. You're like, up at that point, you were taking the movie seriously, and then the army of lizards come in. You're like, okay, what the fuck is this?
Again, there's such a
They've
problem
taken the
with tone in
least
that
realistic part of Batman Begins and thought, okay, let's make it realistic like Nolan's movies.
would would you reckon that the lizards are going to look like the lizard from the Spider-Man PS1 game at all?
I haven't played that.
Have you played that? Anyone?
Yeah.
I did play it, but I don't remember it.
Yeah. Funny enough, I'm actually watching somebody do a let's play of that.
I don't know anymore. Like, honestly, I was so excited for this movie, and the more I see, the less I fucking care. And now I'm just at the point where I just don't give a shit anymore. I'm not excited for the movie anymore.
As soon as you said the more I see, the less I care. I don't know why, but I instantly thought of that song "White Girls."
Oh, that's like my favorite movie.
It's like white girls. He said Julie, Jessica, Angela. I'm like, what the fuck? He said, the more I see, the more I do. I'm like, what?
And,
I'm like, this is my anthem.
The one thing that really pisses me off about The Amazing Spider-Man is the game. You know, the game is coming out, and the iguana in that looks better than the lizard.
Yeah, I'm more excited to play the game than actually to see them.
Same here.
Oh, hey, did anyone catch this too? Bob Chipman was talking about this, and it was just a total eureka moment for me. That like this new Peter Parker has, you know, deep-seated father issues, and you know maybe his father did experiments on him. It's like, wait a minute, did you not do this same thing in Ang Lee's Hulk, and did it not suck balls?
Dude, when I saw that during the trailer, my wife just looked at me, and I had this fucking like I was about to like, oh god, I was so pissed. Fuck that, yeah.
They already announced that there are going to be several Spider-Man villains in the game, like Rhino and Black Cat will be in the game. So,
yeah, so that just means that those villains are never going to be in the movie series. Because basically they did the same thing with the Raimi games. If the villain was in those games, he wouldn't be in the movie.
Exactly, that's it. And what really pissed me off is they're like, oh, every villain is based from the same serum that Doc Connors uses. I'm like, well, fuck that. Can't you think something original at least?
Yeah.
To be honest, I rather would have wanted the. I just wish that the fourth Spider-Man film didn't get cancelled. Or I rather want to see.
Here.
I mean, it probably wouldn't have been great from what I was hearing, but
John Malkovich as Vulture would have been awesome.
I'd have loved to have seen that.
It probably would have been better than what we're getting.
Oh yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're gonna start fucking wrapping this up.
Every time I look at the actor that's playing Doc Connors, I keep thinking of that movie Replacements, where he was like, oh, ole, 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 and he's just dancing around like in his underwear and shit. No one else see that movie?
Anyone else watch the sci-fi original series of Peter Pan that came out this year?
No, I didn't. Was it any good?
Because the guy who plays the lizard was in that as Captain Hook, and he wasn't bad.
I heard it was actually a good series, so.
It was only 2 episodes, so if you haven't seen it, you should just go download it.
My wife has it, so I'll check it out sometime.
It's okay. It's not fantastic, but it's enjoyable.
Yeah, alrighty.
Better than the last Peter Pan movie to come out.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Sonic, for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
You're always free when you're out of time when we're recording. Feel free to come stop by, give us your thoughts on everything, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
it'll make our show more classy.
I just want to make a final plug. Check out my YouTube channel, Index Sonic, on YouTube. Thank you.
Check it out, people. Fucking do it.
Word.
And thank you for joining us, everybody. As always, you can find our podcast at dcopodcast.podbean.com, and also our YouTube channel, which a bunch of you are already subscribing there, but that's youtube.com/XVORPSM. Or just simply search up Comic Book Cast on there, and we pop up, right in the search. And now, Tom?
Yeah, I just want to quickly pimp out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/SnoochieBoochie, spelled SNOOCHEEBOOCHEES. And my Facebook page for my current web series that's going on at the moment is superhero based, so you guys should like it. It's facebook.com/chosen web series.
Perfect. Sean?
Okay, if you guys want to see an asshole rant about stuff or just talk about random things, then check out my YouTube channel, SJ504. That is SJ504 for all you people that don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
All right, Joel?
Yes, and if you want to find my work, just search The DVD Grouch, all one word, at YouTube. You can find both my shows I'm currently doing there, Late to the Party, where I talk about old nostalgic stuff that I've only now gotten into, and Video Shakedown, where I break the thumbs of movies that anger me.
And Ben?
If you want to find my videos where I review stuff from my childhood with the show Childhood Throwback, or just other reviews in general, fan trailers, rants, shit like that, go to just Mr. Cool 210. If you want to request a review, or hell, if you even want to be in it, I'm not that big yet, you can comment, send me a message, or whatever.
All right, and thank you for joining us for another episode, everybody. Have a good one.
Thor has the first question for Hawk Ostby.
How did you get started in the business?
That's a long. Here we go. Matt. How did I get started in the business? I was at Boston University, and I was trying to sort of write novels, and I wasn't very good at it. I just couldn't, it was just too much work, too much research. And then I saw a guy who was writing a screenplay, and I looked at it, and it was a lot of white space, and it seemed like, hey, this looks pretty easy. And so I bought a book. It was a screenplay by Sid Field, and then I just went home and sort of read it and wrote a ton of really crappy scripts. And but I just kept doing it. I thought success was like right around the corner. I was just completely stupid. Didn't realize it was going to be 15 years of eating pasta and struggling. But then suddenly one day the phone rings and somebody says, "Hey, we read something of yours that we want to buy," and that's it. You got your foot through the door. But it really was. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, that book, Screenplay by Sid Field. I think every writer, at least my age, kind of read that book. That was the only real book there was in screenwriting. But yeah, that's how it started, with kind of delusion, if you will. Yes.
Can you elaborate on your involvement with Akira?
Yeah, Akira was an interesting. It was actually one of the toughest things I think we've ever done. It was really, really hard. Obviously because the manga was so iconic, and when you're in charge of a property like that, or get put in charge of it, it's really scary. And there was already a script written that sort of tried to follow it very closely, and it just did not come together. And so we were brought in. They said, look, try and reimagine it, and we really did. And we probably did too much reimagining, so we changed it completely. I mean, our take was really, I think, City of God meets Blade Runner, and that was sort of how we were sort of conceptualizing it. But it was really, really difficult. And eventually they got Albert Hughes interested, and then we had one conversation with him, and he said, yeah, I read the script. I hate it, and I want to start again. When can you guys, you guys ready? And we'd been working on it for a year, and we said, that's it for us. And then he hired another writer who came on board, and I'm not sure what happened there. And then there was Steve Kloves, an amazing, amazing writer. He did the Harry Potter series and all those. He came on and did a few drafts, and so I don't really know what that script looks like, or if anything of ours is still in it. I would doubt it. But it's weird with that movie, because I don't think the fans even really seemed that stoked to see the movie. Every sort of board we would read, it was like, I can't believe you're remaking this, and they would sort of use a string of 4-letter words after that. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, well, first I want to start by saying that I think you did a fantastic job with Iron Man.
Well, thank you.
My question is, how much material do you get handed to write the screenplay? And how much do you have to build on it?
You mean for Iron Man, or just in general?
Just in general.
Well, it almost varies. I mean, sometimes, with Akira, there was some very iconic source material. Obviously, with Iron Man, there was too. And Mark and I were not sort of, we loved comics, but we weren't, I couldn't have answered half the questions about Iron Man, sadly. So when we came with John to the movie, we actually wrote John Carter of Mars with John. That's where we met John when Paramount was doing it. And that actually turned out to be one of the best scripts I think we've ever written. Paramount decided not to do the movie. And that's when Disney stepped in and bought the rights to it, but John then got John got essentially pulled onto Iron Man, so he brought us with him, and he said, hey, we're doing Iron Man, and Mark was like, all right, we don't know anything really about Iron Man. We were sort of totally green, and Marvel hands us this New York phone book. It was like a thick volume of every Iron Man comic ever made, and we just started leafing through that, and then in the discussions with Marvel, we sort of built the story out of that. But right there, I mean, we just steeped ourselves in what was there, and but it was pretty daunting. I remember the first thing with this movie, we were like, a guy in an iron suit, like we don't even see his face. How's this a movie? How are we gonna emotion? That's the problem with the suit. and it certainly could have been very cheesy and campy. There's a version of this movie that really scared us. But yeah, sometimes you get a lot of stuff. Sometimes we're given absolute minimum. We've done some video game adaptations where there's a kernel of something great, but there really is no story, and that's, sometimes that's good and sometimes bad. Yeah? Yeah.
How long did it take you to write a screenplay?
Sorry?
How long did it take you to write a screenplay?
Well, it varies. I mean, Akira we spent a year on, but you're always getting, physically, from when you start to when you finish, contractually it's 12 weeks. On an original and on a rewrite, it's 8 weeks. Usually they want it before, like around 6-7 weeks, they start calling you going, hey, how's it going? You're like, good. And then, sometimes you just can't, it just takes time to sort of find the voice of the story, of the characters, and it's always scary when the clock is running. That's when you can really, you're sort of 4 weeks into your contract and you've written like 10 act ones and you just can't get any further. And that's always like, your guts just tighten up because you know that the clock's ticking. And in 2 weeks they're going to be, hey, how's it going? But that's, we have a weird process of working. I usually, go away for like 20 days and just sort of vomit out the story. And it's often very poorly written and just, long, and then my writing partner Mark will take it and do his pass on it, and it'll come back and it'll have shape and it'll be shorter, and then I do another pass on it where it hopefully gets sharper and shorter, and so we sort of go back and forth. Blue?
Yeah. How much do you write, like in the instance of Iron Man, how much do you write for the actors that are going to be in the parts? Like, this seemed like a very Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man.
Yeah, it really was. When we came onto this project, we would have written in tone Batman, The Dark Knight. That was our that's the tone that sort of Mark and I gravitate towards. And when we met Robert, he's very, very funny and very self-effacing. He talks a mile a minute, and he's all over the place. And we quickly realized that was not going to work. And even John, was like, guys, you got to lighten up. So the tone sort of got lighter and lighter, and that's really, John was really responsible for sort of nailing the tone of Iron Man, or at least setting the, painting the bullseye. For Robert, because he does ad-lib a lot, like he would take lines that we'd written, and he would just stand in front of the camera and do 7 different versions, ripping out lines, changing it, flipping things on their head. He would be all over the place, and sometimes he wouldn't even say things. He would just ad-lib in, and then he would say something that was in a scene that we were going to shoot 2 days later. So now you're like, shh, you already said it. Now what do we do? Now suddenly we got to come up with something else because you already kind of did the scene inside the other scene. So there was a lot of that kind of stuff going on. But I think the movie's pretty good. It's better because of it. He really, his personality really bleeds through all that stuff, and those are lines. A lot of those lines we just could never have written. They're just Robert. But most importantly for movies is structure. And I think the movie had a very, very solid structure, meaning that we knew that he was going to be this sort of, careless playboy that then goes to Afghanistan and has this happen to him and comes back and has this whole sort of change of heart, literally. And then, structure is a screener. That's the most important thing. That's the bedrock. And the dialogue, you really want sort of the actors to make it their own in some way. Okay. I had to be quicker.
Question, for Cowboys and Aliens, I noticed that Daniel Craig kept going for his hat a lot. Was that an homage to Harrison Ford with Indiana Jones?
In which one?
Cowboys and Aliens?
Yeah, I'm sure. I was not.
Did you write that, or,
Yeah, we did write that, but no, that wasn't in the script. We didn't specifically write that, but I'm sure that's something they played with. I know John is a huge fan of Harrison and obviously of Indiana. So. All right, how about some way up there? Yes.
If you could pick any director right now to work with on your screenplay, who would it be?
If I could pick any director right now, I think Chris Nolan would come to mind pretty quickly. I think that guy's, everything he does is intriguing. When the lights come up and I leave with my kids, we usually have an argument or discussion about what actually happened or what did it mean. He's a really deft. So I think for those kind of big, I admire so many people who Ridley Scott. We sort of had a brief dance with him, which was really intriguing and pretty amazing to sit across the table from a guy like that. It's sort of, you're sort of speechless half the time. But I don't know, I admire a lot. But when you ask the question, Chris Nolan, sprang to mind. Yeah.
Are you part of developing the score for the
No, no. I mean, I know Clint Eastwood kind of does. He does score. I mean, he does everything. But no, we don't do any scoring. You wouldn't want that. Not useful. Right.
You kind of have
Yes,
answered
I'm
it, but I
ignoring
don't
you
know.
guys.
Kind of.
Sorry, I'll come further down.
Out of completed projects, what was your favorite and least favorite film?
Out of completed projects, well, you know what? I will say Consequence, the first movie we ever wrote. That's really didn't come out well, and the script was pretty good. It needed a director to warm up the characters. The characters were pretty cold, and I remember seeing the rough cut. And I didn't know it was. I was like, are you sure this is our movie? You know, it was so different and just completely. It did not come out. I mean, it was unrecognizable. So that one I never. You know, it's sort of our I would say our dark stain on our resume. But yeah, I don't reflect well on that one. But otherwise, we've been extremely fortunate. I mean, the people we've been involved with have been so great and just have added. I mean, Children of Men just got better and better and better. You know, it was like 3 writing teams on it, and it just got better and better. Iron Man. I mean, so we've been very fortunate. You know, it can just as easily go the other way. All right. Yeah.
What movie are you currently working on right now?
Right now, we are about to. We're actually trying to get a TV series started, but I'm not sure I'm allowed to talk about that. But we do have a Manhunt, which is a movie Gerard Butler just signed on for, which is pretty exciting. So that would go later this year, hopefully, or very early next year. And that's essentially it's about a survivalist who commits this crime and then runs into the wilderness, and the FBI can't get him because they've sort of forgotten how to hunt people on foot. They're very good with technology and when you use a credit card and using all sort of the facets of technology, but hunting a person in the wilderness is sort of a lost art. And so this guy goes in with a team to try and find this guy, and then complications ensue. And then also we have something called Inside Out, which is a prison heist movie. And we'll have some good news on that shortly. But that's a pretty cool double time. That's right. Tim came up with a new title for it, a better title. But that hopefully will go later this year as well. Okay, way up there.
Was Don Cheadle ever considered in the first Iron Man?
No, I don't think he was. I think they were pretty locked on Terrence from the beginning. I'm not really sure what happened there, to be honest. I mean, I thought he was pretty terrific. He certainly was great. Just a really nice person, and so it may have been contractual, but something like where they just couldn't see end to end of the deal.
I'll ask a question.
You guys tired of talking? Here we go.
Is it true that earlier drafts of Iron Man actually included parts of the Demon in a Bottle story arc where he was an alcoholic, but Disney refused to use that, or is that just like one of those internet things?
No, not in maybe. No, not. We never had that. That was always going to come later. That was autobiography. Yes. Well, Tom Cruise was supposed to be at one point supposed to be Iron Man, so it had a life before we came on. So I'm not sure. Maybe they sort of tried to touch on it there. But the Mandarin was supposed to be the villain in Iron Man. And that was exceedingly complex because we couldn't figure out how Tony Stark and the Mandarin were ever going to be in the same place, or why they even would be in the same place. And so we sort of bending backwards to try and make the story work. It was awful. And then finally, Kevin Feige came in and just said, he shouldn't be the villain. And suddenly, everything just kind of changed. So it was really, this thing went through a lot of iterations.
So from you seeing and basically making Iron Man who it is now, how do you like how the second movie came out and potentially how he's actually going to play a role in the Avengers?
I don't know. I didn't, not because I didn't write it, but I didn't like the second one. It was very funny. It had all its individual components to me were really great, but together the movie just didn't. I mean, I'm sure kids. The Iron Man you're going to see here obviously doesn't have really that much action in it, and I know the second one they really were worried about that and sort of amped that up. But I don't know, for some reason the sum of the parts don't add up, and I don't say that. You know, I really wanted to like it, but I felt it had its moments. But I think mostly it was overstuffed. It felt very, very overstuffed. There was too many things going on. I know that they had to do that because they had Avengers and they had to get certain things in there, but it just felt like very, very, very overstuffed. How about all the way up there? You, yes.
What is your favorite film of all time?
Favorite film of all time. I don't know. You know, there's certain things that we go back to all the time that we reference. You know, when we go to pitch new projects, and they ask us, you know, or you know, to try and reference things. And the thing we keep going back to. I mean, I keep going back to Apocalypse Now. I go back to Blade Runner. I go back to Alien. I go, you know, all those sort of, and maybe because I was a certain age, you know, when I saw them, and but to me, those were really, really, you know, in every sort of genre. There's that in the Western, it's Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and I guess maybe I'm very classical or standard in that. But I think movies kind of are like food. You feel like certain things at certain times, and then you rediscover things, you let them go, and then you're like, what about that? I'd like to see that again, and then it stirs something in you that's, you know. All right, I guess we have time for one more. Green? Yes. Is that green?
It's like music green. That's why I was like, when you go to write a script, you can pull right in something that has a really rich back history, like Iron Man will kill with tons of source material to draw from, or you can pull right in something that has very little back material to begin with. You kind of create from almost nothing.
Yeah, I mean, then you have to invent a lot of stuff, and you know, and still try to sort of make it feel the same. I mean, whenever we try to do an adaptation or anything, we try to, you know, you can't always capture scene by scene from a book or whatever, but you try to capture the feeling. You know, like with Children of Men, it was really an unfilmable book until we sort of poured it into a new, sort of gave it a new, not a new engine, but sort of a new shell, which was, you know, the idea that it was Casablanca set in a dystopian future, and then it was like, okay, so, you know, the whole movement of the story kind of settled itself along that sort of structure, and then, you know, it really was, you know, it sort of feels like the book, but it really isn't the book, and if you ever read that book, it's you know, what actually happens is completely different, but it's still, the world still feels the same, so, but you have to just invent. I mean, if it's not there, you have to, I mean, you have to find what you love about anything. If you sign on for something, if you don't like it, you're going to get in trouble, because sooner or later you're just going to run out of steam. And that's why you have to really, you know, it's so hard to go and face a blank page to sit in the chair. Then you really have to love sort of the source material. You know, it's essential.